Hi friends, welcome to episode 54 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha and you can find me anywhere online as Nadira Tani. Thank you for coming to spend some time with me today. I really do appreciate it. I'm coming to you today from my home in Central Florida, and today's date is Tuesday, September 11th. Like I said, thank you so much for clicking on this video and for spending however many minutes I chit chat about the crafty things with you. All I have for you today is a whole bunch of knitting. Well, I have some hand knitting and some machine knitting, so super excited about that. So let's jump right in to the crafty bits. So the only thing that I have that I put in my finished object section is this cardigan that I surprise made. This was not a plan. This was not something that I was like, oh, I really want to machine knit a cardigan. I'm inside and I have the sliding door open to the backyard, and those bugs are freaking loud. One moment. That's better. So I hadn't planned to make this thing. I set up my knitting machine to make a baby blanket, but the yarn that I was going to use was way too thick and chunky to get through my machine. So I was like, well, I done spent all this time setting this machine up. I'm just gonna grab some yarn from my stash and make a thing. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So it was just kind of one of those moments where you're just flowing in the midst of the creativity, and well, bam. So if you're a new viewer, I found this knitting machine at the Goodwill for, I think it was $7. Ugh. Let's see if I can hold it up. It is called, it was $7, and it's called the Incredible Sweater Machine, as seen on TV. But this is what it looks like that, right? So, oh my gosh, it's heavy. Okay, whew. I need to do arm exercises. Look at the little teeny tiny muscle. What is that? Anyway, so I set up the machine like you set it up on a table and clamp it. You have to put the pieces together, clamp it to the table, get the right plates for the yarn, and blah, 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 blah. It's a whole to-do about setting up this machine. So I set it up, and when I realized the yarn that I wanted to use for the blanket was too big, I was just like, I'm not about to be wasting all this time setting this up. I'm not taking it down. I'm going to make something. So I went into my stash and I grabbed this yarn, which I got from Joann's. Joann's does those bags, those value bags, where it's a random amount of yarn. And this one, this particular, it's a peachy pink. There were two what I assumed to be full balls of yarn, and then one that was a little bit skinnier. And it has the look and feel of Caron's Simply Soft. So I just pulled those out and started knitting back and forth. And since I had set it up to do the blanket, the bed of that machine has 100 needle hooks. So I had it set to knit across all 100 of them. So I had the TV on. I don't even remember what I was watching, and I was just going back and forth. It is very meditative, which I really appreciate. But I did the full, this full rectangle piece. At the time, I didn't know what I was making. And then the next day, I went to work, and when I got off work, I passed by this in the store. I work in JCPenney Portrait, so I was walking through JCPenney, and I passed this clearance section, and they had this kimono kind of type dealie. So essentially what it is, you can't even see me, is a big rectangle for the back and then 2 little rectangles for the fronts. So this was my inspiration piece for this cardigan. So I get home and I'm like, bet, I already have a big rectangle and it's 100 stitches across. So if I just cut down the fronts to like 50 stitches across, then I can knit 2 of those and then sew it together up here and then sew it together on the side. And I'll have like a little kimono cardigan type thing, right? You see where the processing was going. So I said, okay, I can do that. I got this. And let me tell you, like, I'm so excited about this surprise cardigan. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous. So let me just go ahead and show you. I'm gonna say it's not 100% finished because I do want to add pockets because I have this much yarn left. So I'm gonna use this because who needs this little bit of yarn? So I'm gonna add pockets to the front. This cardigan had me learning all kinds of things, y'all. So this is the first like official thing I have knit on my knitting machine. So I feel a little bit like, I don't know. I was gonna say like a Knitting Gangsta. Yeah, okay, yeah, I do. I do feel like a Knitting Gangsta right now because this is really awesome. But anyway, so this is how it looks. Like a cardigan, right? And this is how it looks on. And when I put it on, I will tell you about the construction. So you have the back panel, which you can see my gauge got a little tight, like right here. I don't know what was happening, but whatever. So I have the back, and then you have the fronts. And then I learned how to mattress stitch. So I did my first mattress stitches, which I always thought mattress stitch was super hard. It's not. I don't know what took me so long to learn this, but I had already seamed the top edges together with like a slip stitch crochet stitch. And I'm probably, I don't know. Well, I can't take it out now because I done knit on the sleeves. We're just gonna have to roll with it because I used a different color yarn for the top sleeves because I didn't know how much yarn I was gonna have. Had I known that I was gonna have this much left over after finishing this whole thing, I would have seamed everything in the correct color. But, oh my gosh, I'm about to have a heat stroke. Florida, what's up with you? So these are my shoulder seams. They do pucker a little bit, but that's nothing that a little steam iron and a little bit of pulling won't straighten out a little bit. Or maybe I'll just leave it like that and call it a design feature. And this is the inside. So you can see that other color that I have in there. But it seems not too bad, right? Especially for something that like wasn't planned. It was just like, let's make a thing. This is my mattress stitch. Yeah. And then I picked up stitches around the armholes and knit just tiny little ribbings for the sleeves. I also hand knit the ribbing at the bottom. And then as the final finishing, because I didn't really feel like doing a button band because that was just going to be doing the most, I just did a single crochet edging all the way around. So as you saw when I put it on, the front bands do roll in, and that's fine. I don't really mind it, or I don't mind it. So yeah, that's my surprise cardigan. And now I just have to weave in all of the ends and this will be ready to wear. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I am super proud of myself for putting this thing together. And you know how sometimes like when you're creating something, you kind of step back and watch yourself in sort of a way and just be like, wow, you know, this idea didn't exist a little bit ago. And here it is becoming a real thing. So I'm super excited about this. It's really cozy. As you saw, I'm like all sweaty now. But that is my only finished object. As far as like, it's wearable. So after I weave in the ends and decide on what kind of pockets I want to put on here, I'm thinking about crocheting pockets to go on there because I crochet faster than I knit. We'll see. So that's that. And maybe one day it'll cool off a little bit in Florida and I'll be able to wear this. Who knows? That day will probably be in February. All right. Was there anything else I wanted to say about that? I don't think so. I think that's it for the surprise cardi. Next, we will jump into works in progress. So last week I said that I was going to have I was going to aim to have my aria top, the test knit I did for the Drunk Knitter, done by this week. That kind of happened, but the reason that it's not in finished objects is because I'm going to rip out the whole armhole neckband situation. So this is it. It kind of looks like a hot water bottle when it's not on a body. But so this part goes around your neck and this part is, you know, this is the armhole. And, you know, as you can see, those armholes are smaller than my arms. Like this distance is not deep enough for my actual arms. So as I was like knitting up the pattern, we did have to do like some rejigging of her numbers and like figuring out like what numbers I needed to cast on for this particular size. Like, but we were able to work all the numbers out. Now we just have to make the adjustments to have the armholes like sized properly because they're quite small. And the funny thing about it was when I finished knitting it, I put it on and I was just like, it was like this. And I was just like, I know I didn't make a mistake. I know I did this right because I did this decrease thing twice. So when I was talking about it in the test knit group, some of the other test knitters were like, oh yeah, you know, the armholes did, you know, fit me a little bit smaller, but I just added extra rows, you know, to make it fit. And I was like, okay, well, at least I know I didn't do anything wrong. Like that wasn't me. But I don't know, maybe it's just because like of the way that I approach patterns. Like if I'm test knitting, like I want the designer to know like, this is exactly what happens if I make your product, or if I make your pattern from the pattern without like freestyling or correcting anything myself. Like if I was just knitting this myself and not like test knitting it, yeah, I would have added in the extra rows. Like, okay, well, it's not long enough right now, so I can just keep knitting for a couple more inches and we'll make it work. But I wouldn't want her to release a pattern that the maker would end up having to like fix the end. You know what I mean? Like I want like not only the things that I put out to be good quality, but I want things that are put out by the people around me, I want them to also be good quality. So there's still a little work that needs to be done, but she was like super responsive to the different comments and everything that we were making about the decreases. So I'm just waiting for her to send out an update, and then I'm gonna rip back somewhere. But I mean, I'm like a boss when it comes to like knitted on I-cord edging right now. Before this pattern, I didn't know how to do it. Now I've done it like 6 times. Silver lining. So yeah, so that's the Aria top. We'll see. Hopefully that will be done soon. I did get a lot of comments. Well, not a lot, but I got some comments on last episode about me wanting to do the like red floofy skirt. So that's definitely something that's gonna happen in some sort of way or the other. So Christmas, y'all. The next work in progress that I have is a pair of socks, and these socks I've decided to call the Draco socks. I don't know if they're just going to be called the Draco socks or if I'm going to find like some other kind of way to name them, but that's the idea that I'm going with. A lot of my newer like pattern designs or ideas that I'm having, I want everything to have like a celestial tie. And you know, like the Gemini shawl that I'm working on is named after the constellation. I have an older hat called the Orion hat, and like all of these things, like I want them to be tied to like celestial meanings. So either stars or constellations or planets or celestial bodies, you know, different things like that, like space related things. So I've decided to call these the Draco socks, an idea, not as a working title. So it's these. Oh, everything's tangled. Help. I need an adult. Haha. Okay, so it's these socks, and you guys saw these last week. And last week I was not yet to the toe, or to the heel. All right, so there's the pattern. It is a double moss stitch pattern with flanked by a couple twisted stitches and some 2x2 rib. Last week I was at this stitch marker, and then I worked up to here. This one was marking a certain number of rows so that I could keep track of my row count before I started the heel. So I put the heel in yesterday, just a regular wrap and turn short row heel. And now I'm working on the foot. The reason that these became the Draco socks to me was because I was working on these in the studio, and this lady, these two ladies came in for business headshots, and one of them was like, oh, you know, I really want to get into sock knitting, but I don't know what kind of needles to use and blah blah blah. So I was telling her like, oh, I use, you know, the Chalgu red lace needles. You can get them on Amazon. I'm like writing down the type of needles it is, and she was like, oh, thanks. And so I showed her the sock, and she goes, oh wow, they're Slytherin colors. And I was like, they are, aren't they? Like, it had not even crossed my mind that these colors were like Slytherin-y. So after that, I was looking at them and I was like, you know, this could be very like snake-like, especially with that texture going down the middle. So I was looking at them and my mind went from snake to dragon to Draco. And of course, y'all all know that there's a character in the Harry Potter universe named Draco. These are not named after him. This is just a coincidence. But there is a constellation called Draco that is the dragon. So dragon scales, dragon constellation, Draco, Slytherin colors. It was just a perfect storm to name this pattern. So ta-da! Ta-da! So I don't know if they're going to end up staying Draco or if I'm going to find out, like look at like the stars that make up the constellation Draco and see if there's like a cooler name in there. Actually, let's find out right now. Okay, so I grabbed my book, What We See in the Stars, by Kelsey Oseid. There you go. This book is beautiful. If you have not looked at this book, you really should. It's, even if you're not like into space like I am, it's just beautiful. Sidebar. So let's see. Draco. Oh, there it goes. Draco the dragon. Okay, the brightest star in that constellation is Eltanin, maybe. So that's what the constellation Draco looks like. And its brightest star is in the head, called Gamma Draconis, aka Eltanin or Eltanin. Like that. Let's see. The constellation Draco curls around the North Star and Ursa Major. It is often associated with the dragon of Greek mythology that Hercules killed during his mythical 12 labors. The name of its brightest star, Eltanin, comes from the Arabic for the dragon or the serpent. Draco's star Thuban used to be the northern pole star. It was the brightest star located almost directly above the North Pole that appears stationary due to its alignment with the Earth axis. We now know the Earth axis wobbles slowly over time and has shifted over the millennia. The current northern pole star is Polaris in Ursa Major. The axis continues to wobble though, and Thuban will become the northern pole star once again around 20,000 years from now. We learned something new. So, Draco socks. I think I want to call it Eltanin. What do you guys think? I think that could be really cool. We'll see. But yeah, that was a fun little adventure. So these socks are in the works. I'm like 1 inch into the foot and we're just chugging right along. The yarn that I'm using is Deborah Norville Serenity Sock. This gray is called Charcoal and the green is called Woodsy Green. The green is leftovers that I've had from other socks. The gray was a new ball. So yeah, da-da-da. I like Eltanin. I'm gonna have to look it up to see if I'm pronouncing it correctly. The only other thing that I have in progress right now is the Gemini shawl, which I just mentioned a little bit ago. But I've almost finished the second half, so I'm not going to show it again until the second half is finished. And I haven't frogged the first half. And what I've decided to do is just finish the whole shawl, like seam it together and everything so that you guys can see the whole shawl when I'm done. And then go back and do all the frogging, color setting, and recrocheting that I need to do with that pattern. And that is everything that I have as far as like makey type things for my works in progress. The only other work in progress I have is another Harry Potter thing. I have decided to reread the books. I remember I started reading them when I was younger, when they first came out. And I think I got to like the third book before my mom was like, "You're not reading this because you're going to try to be a witch." No, I'm not. But, you know, that's fine. So I got banned from reading the Harry Potter books. And now that I'm a grown-up and I can do what I want, I'm rereading the books. And I had holds on the Harry Potter series in my, what's that app called? Overdrive, which is an app my library uses for like ebooks and CDs and like media like that. But the whole line is so stinking long. So I was like, obviously I'm never gonna find these, or I'm never gonna get these. So I've been looking for the books in thrift stores and no luck. So like a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago, I was going through my Overdrive app and it was like 20 years of Harry Potter. And it had the first book was available. So I borrowed it and I have been reading it while crocheting and knitting, and it's really cool. And it's amazing, you know, how much you don't remember after years. So it's, for me, it's really like experiencing the story for the very first time. And it's also really cool to be able to basically like coming into this, like this world as a pretty much a newbie, and seeing how things relate to each other. So like my husband works part-time at Universal Studios, so we're able to go over there every once in a while. And I love going through the Harry Potter world, or like the Wizarding world, because it's just so amazing to see. But I feel like my experiences going over there to the park and like walking around the stores and seeing the Gringotts and everything like that, and then reading about it in the book, I almost feel like I was there. So it's really given me a new appreciation and a new way to approach the stories. So I'm coming to the end of the first book and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, one of my friends has the second book in ebook form, so she said that she can lend it to me. I don't know how that works, but I really don't want to have to wait a month of Sundays to get the next book on hold. So there's that. Yeah, so that's everything for works in progress. The next thing I have is maker plans, and the only thing I have on there is the baby blanket that led to the surprise cardigan. So this is what I'm going to be doing for my baby blanket. Well, the baby blanket is not for me. It's for a couple of my friends. They're having a baby and I'm super excited for them. So they have requested a blue and gold blanket. So since I'm feeling like, you know, I can do all things with my my sweater machine, I am going to try my hand at machine knitting a striped baby blanket. Keep your fingers crossed. I think this is going to go well. But that's the only thing on maker plans. And I'm using Caron Simply Soft in gold and navy blue. Yay! And I'll put this over here. That takes us, guys, to Stashquisitions. So I hope you have a snack, because your girl has a haul. And I am so happy about this haul, y'all. Let me take a sip. So, before we get into the haul, I have a couple other things that I want to show you. The first being this t-shirt. It says make your own luck, and the little bunny is crocheting a 4-leaf clover. And there's a yarn ball on that side. So I got this shirt from this site called Tea Turtle, and I'll link it down below. They have like a ton of like crafty shirts, gamer shirts, fandom shirts, like all kinds of stuff over there. So if you are like interested in getting anything like this, definitely check them out. Occasionally they do really good sales. Like I got this shirt for $12, and yes, please. They also have a really good collection of enamel pins. So I'll put in a picture of the 2 enamel pins that I got from them. I have one that says introvert, and the other one that's like a craft all the things octopus. And I think it says I love crafting, I think. But I'll put pictures up of those. So that is my first stash position. I love it. If you know anything about me, if you're like a long-term viewer, you know that I am all about like the St. Patrick's Day things, because that was me and my husband's first date was on St. Patrick's Day. So it is a very special holiday to me. The next thing I have a book and a ball of yarn. The book I got from Hobby Lobby, which is Step Into Crochet by Rohn. And I wanted this book for quite a while. It's just a whole book about crocheting socks. And I had gone to Hobby Lobby on a mission. And after I completed my mission, I went through the clearance section, and this was on clearance for like $5.75. So I was like, obviously you're going home with me. The mission was to take a picture, like a fall picture. So what happened was, I was talking to one of my friends because he posted a picture of like at Starbucks or something, and he took a picture of the sign that said like pumpkin spice lattes, something like that. And he was like, should I try it? And I was like, no. It's like, I don't like pumpkin spice lattes, but I do love the salted caramel mochas. Like, that is my fall drink. Like, I get down with the salted caramel mocha. Matter of fact, when I leave the house today, I'm gonna have to get me one. So we're chit-chatting back and forth about like the drinks or whatever, and I was like, man, I should go get myself one of those tomorrow. And I should even like maybe go to the store and get some fake leaves and like take a fall themed picture, like pretending it's fall, because Florida, it's like the middle of summer here. We don't get fall. And he was like, oh my gosh, you should totally do it, and I want to see pictures. So of course, you know, I had to do the most. So I got like one of my shawls, and I went and I got my coffee, and I had like a list of errands I was doing that day. So I got my coffee, I went to Hobby Lobby, and like, you know how they have all the fake flowers and the fake plants and stuff? So I set my camera up, and I was like posing like in the fake plants. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there was like something that was going around, I think it was on Instagram, that was basically like these super glam photos that were taken in Hobby Lobby. So like you would see like the super beautiful photo with this floral background, and it was all like ethereal lighting and all this beautiful stuff, right? And then you would see like the reality, and it's like this girl who's like leaning up in the plants like this, like doing her model face or whatever. Somebody else is like hanging plants over top of her head. So I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. And it was so ridiculous because I'm trying to like take a selfie, and I realized that the angle that my camera was at when I had it sitting wasn't good. So I ended up taking a selfie. So I'm leaned back in these plants, like pulling them over my shoulders with my coffee, like smiling and trying to take a selfie, like make sure that I have my head in the plants, but you can't see the ceiling. And it was the most ridiculous thing that I've done in a long time. But I'm super proud of the picture that came out of it. I'm gonna put up a finished picture. I put this on Instagram, so you may have already seen it. So that was the finished picture. And then I also put like reality. So you had like the reality versus the Instagram. So this is the reality. Oh my gosh. And at one point, this lady came and was standing right next to like the aisle that I was in, like on her phone. And I'm just standing there like, can you take your conversation elsewhere? I'm trying to do a picture and you're making me feel awkward. People trying to impose on my creative genius. Okay, so that was the long rant. So moral of that story, or the end of that story, is I got this book and I'm excited about it. The only thing that I didn't really think about when I was thinking about crocheting socks is that because crochet eats yarn, each one of these pairs of socks takes like 2 balls of yarn. And I don't know if I have like quantities of yarn to actually do this. So I'm gonna have to go buy more yarn. So yes, that is that. And then the last piece of stash acquisition I have before the haul is this. Rochelle of the Queen's Yarns Boutique was having a D-stash, and she posted this. Is this upside down? No. She posted this on Instagram, and I snatched it up so fast because I really, really, really want a pair of rainbow socks. So this is as close as I've been able to get to rainbow socks, and it's not like completely like striped rainbow, but this is close I'm gonna get for now, I guess. Because I really like, I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on it, but I'm excited about this. So this is Cascade Heritage Prints. It's 75/25 superwash merino wool and nylon, and the colorway is color number 45. So I don't know when I'm gonna cast these socks on, but whenever it is, it's gonna be super exciting, and I'm very happy that this is in my possession. So that brings us to the haul. So the same day that I had the Hobby Lobby photo shoot, I went to a stash sale. So one of the yarn shops in my area, I use area loosely because this place is about an hour drive away from me, is 4 Pearls. And they, I think each year they have a stash sale where people in the area bring their yarn that they don't want, and it's kind of like a yard sale of yarn. And so I went, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, it's probably going to be really expensive. I gave myself a budget of $20, and I'm like, I'm probably not going to be able to get a whole lot for that. Maybe like 1 or 2 balls of yarn. So, you know, that's where my expectation was. When I walked in the room, there were like 4 or 5 tables full of yarn, just like all of them bagged and priced and stuff. So I'm like, you know, still feeling like, this is probably all gonna be, not all out of my budget, but I'm probably not gonna get a whole lot of bang for my buck. Boy, was I wrong. The most expensive thing that I bought, I don't know why I'm screaming right now, sorry. The most expensive thing that I bought was $4. Pretty much everything else was like $2. I got 1 ball of yarn for 25 cents. And so ranging from 25 cents to $4 is where I was with this haul. I did spend my whole $20 and 75 more cents. So darn it, I just broke that budget. But y'all, this is delightful. I'm going to be knitting socks forever. I'm going to be knitting socks 6 ever. You see this? But I'm very happy about it. So happy. So let me just show you the things. And I kept it all in the bags so that I did not cast anything on, because there's already a pair of socks that I'm ready to cast on. And as soon as I finish telling y'all about it, it's going to be the next sock up. That's my excitement right now. So, first out of the bag, or out of the basket, I got 2 balls of Knit Picks Gloss Fingering, and each one of these was $3. Aside from this and the $4 one and then the 25-cent one, everything else was like $2. So I've got cranberry and clover, I think it is. Yeah. I'm going to just take everything out the bags now because I don't have to keep them in here anymore. We've got cranberry and clover. Hello, Christmas. Then let me show you this one. This is the one that I have plans for so far. This is Lorna's Laces. And, oh wait, just in case you didn't know, Knit Picks Gloss Fingering is 70% merino wool, 30% silk. These are 50-gram balls, so they have 220 yards of yarn in it. Anyway, so back to Lorna's Laces. I've never used Lorna's Laces, so as soon as I saw this, I knew that I wanted to get it because one of the things, or one of my goals was, or one of my desires was to try new yarns. This is her Shepherd, I'm assuming it's a her, Lorna. This is Shepherd Sock, the base, and it's 80% superwash wool and 20% nylon. 50 grams, I think. Roundabouts 50 grams. It's 215 yards. And the colorway is Envy. So we have this. And this I have paired up with this. This is Knit Picks Stroll. 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. 50 grams, 231 yards. And this is the color Pumpkin. So I'm putting these together because these are my favorite colors: orange, yellow, and green. I'm gonna have some brown in there. But I have a pair of socks that is a bright orange, yellow, and green, and I call them my favorite color socks. These are going to be my favorite color socks fall edition. I'm super excited about this idea. So they are gonna go together. Yay. Who's next? Oh, let me show you this one. I literally got this one for nostalgia's sake. This is the one that was 25 cents. It is Nature Spun Worsted in the color Irish Shamrock. And you guys already know why I purchased this. Now, I think it was, over Christmas, I bought a ball of this yarn in the fingering weight base, and I knit a pair of socks out of it. So this yarn, it is 100% wool, I believe. Yes, 100% wool, permanently moth-proofed. This wool felt, so I don't know what I'm going to make with it because of the feltability of it, but I had to buy it. Like, I could not leave the little shamrock yarn there. And it was 25 cents. It was practically free. All right, so the next bags, all of these were $2 bags. So I got Felici. And this is the color Countess. Is that Countess? Yeah, Countess. It's 50 grams, 75-25 merino nylon. So we've got some purples. So I think these are gonna be my birthday socks for next year. This is gonna be my birthday socks for next year. That subject-verb agreement in that sentence was really weird. This ball of yarn will be my socks for next year. What? When something goes from singular to plural, my brain hurt. Anyway, $2, Felici, super excited. We're gonna put this back in here. Now this, you guys will know I just knit with this type of yarn for the first time a couple months ago. This is Jojo Land Melody, 100% wool. They are 50-gram balls, and I have two, as you can see. Now this colorway, I haven't looked up to see what colors are in the gradient, because this yarn gradiates from like one type of color to the next. If it's all greens, these are going to be Christmas socks for me and my mommy. So I'm going to do red heels, toes, and cuffs on these. And I think it's going to be stinking adorable, and I cannot handle the cuteness. I also picked up this one, which is the same brand of yarn. just a different colorway. Oh, what colorway is this? Hello? Can I see? I can't see the colorway, so I'll put it on the screen if you're interested. This one, oh, this one feels a lot softer than that one. Huh. Oh. Is that different? This one says Melody Superwash, and this one just says Melody Wool. Is this not Superwash? Oh, nope. This is not Superwash. I might not be able to make these socks for my mom because she will surely put them in the washing machine. I'm glad I noticed that. Anyway, so this is JoJoland Melody Superwash in this beautiful, like, celestial spacey color. So I love this. I might have to, oh my gosh, I don't even know. And then I have like the janky ball. So I might do myself a pair of socks out of these. Like I can get one pair of socks out of a 50-gram ball if I do contrast heels, toes, and cuffs. I might do just like super long socks out of this whole shebang. Cause, oh, look at that gradient right there. Oh my gosh, I cannot even. And the last one I have to show you is this. Okay, so I'll show you the yarn first, then I'll tell you about it. So that's the yarn. And it is Cloudborne Fibers Highland Superwash Sock Twist in the Lavender Heather colorway. They are 50-gram balls, I believe. Yes, 50-gram balls, 178 yards each. 80% super fine, nope, 80% superwash fine Highland wool, 20% polyamide. Sole. More socks, guys. I told you I'm gonna be knitting socks 5 ever, 6 ever. All the yarns is mine. And of course, because I like finding out how much things would have cost me if I didn't get such a great deal on it, I went online and did some research to see how much roughly this yarn would have cost me if I had purchased it all like new. This is about $80 worth of yarn, and I got it for $20. I feel like I'm winning. Like the shop owner was like, "Man, you made out with a bandit." Like, and you got all of these full skeins. Like I was in there for like an hour, like touching everything on the tables. Like there was so much more yarn that I wanted to purchase, but I really wanted to stick to my budget. So, Merry Christmas to me. Yay! Now I have to come up with another idea for my mommy's Christmas socks. Boo! Maybe I can just tell her, don't wash these in the washing machine. I think that's going to be a poor choice. I'm just going to have to get something super wash for her. Or for us, because I really want us to have matching socks. So that is everything for my yarn haul. I'm so happy with this. I'm so glad that I drove down there. Like I hit like this crazy storm that kind of made me feel like I should probably turn around. But I was like, no, I'm probably halfway there now. I just need to keep on going. But oh my goodness. So glad that I did that. Let's see. That's everything. I didn't prepare a Black Fibers Black Thread section today. Because I just wanted to take the time to really say thank you and to send out so much love for this community. Yesterday, I posted on Instagram, yesterday being Monday, I posted on Instagram that I had kind of a rough patch at work and I was feeling really down. And the amount of encouragement and love that I got just in people responding to that post was overwhelming. Like, there's so many feelings that I had. Like, in the post, I was talking about how I have a bad habit, a super bad habit of generalizing things. Like, if I have not even a whole bad day, it was literally like a bad 20 minutes out of the entire day. 8-hour work day, 20 minutes of bad. And I'm like, I hate my life. Like, it's that kind of gross generalization that my mind just instantly jumps to. And I know that I do it, so I do a whole lot of like working with myself and really talking about what I'm feeling and like really breaking things down to try to pull myself out of these like mental downward spirals. But there's something so beautiful and so appreciated for me when I see other people who are just like, you're okay. Like when you guys tell me that, like, when you guys encourage me or share that you're going through things at the same time. And not that, like, I really hate when people, hate might be a strong word, but that might be the strong word I need. But I really, really dislike immensely, vehemently, when people react to someone who's going through something and say, you know, oh, other people are going through harder things, or you don't know what somebody else is struggling with, so be thankful for yours. Like, yeah, you don't know what other people are struggling with, but at the same time, don't use somebody else's struggle to downplay mine. I got a little, Nobody did that, but it has happened. And when you guys share like that, oh, I had a bad day as well, it makes me feel like, okay, I want to be, like, I want to pull myself up so that I can encourage you, you know? And I just you meet people on the internet, whatever. But I just met this lovely, lovely girl. Her name is, well, she goes by Nana. Nana? N-A-N-A. And she dyes yarn. I'll put her link down below. It's Von Hertzberg. Could be wrong. I will put everything on the screen so that I'm not lying. But she posted this picture with like a long comment below it. And I read it and I was just like, it was one of those ones that really encouraged you on a tough day. And this whole week, and Monday particularly, and then this whole week is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Week. And then Monday was World Suicide Prevention Day. And suicide is something that has touched my life. And as I'm unfortunately sure it has touched a lot of our lives. And being aware of others is so important. You know, being willing to see others is so important. And when she posted this like blurb, I'll see if I can link to it so that you can read like her comment. It was just so beautiful. And I told her that. And she said, I'm just trying to be a rainbow in someone else's clouds. And that just really struck me. Like, that is what I want my life to be. I want to be a rainbow in somebody else's cloud. I want to be that bright spot. I want to radiate that love. I want people to be able to communicate with me and talk to me and feel like whatever I'm struggling with, I'm not alone. Like, I know that somebody out there understands where I am or empathizes with what I'm feeling. And like, that's all of these feelings and thoughts were what was rolling through my head yesterday. And then when I hit that bad moment, it was like, even though I had been seeing all of this, you know, seeing these people be rainbows for me and seeing this kindness, it was so hard for me to pull myself out of that. And even this morning when I woke up, I was still feeling like the lack of motivation and the lack of energy. And I'm really glad that I made myself get up and film this, because sharing with you all brings me joy. Sharing with you all brings me up. And I am so glad that this is a part of my existence now. And I get emotional when I think about it. Let's be honest, I get emotional a lot. So that's not saying a whole lot. But I am so blessed to have you all in my life. And when I was reading your encouragements last night on that post, I was just crying, like just tears, just all down my face, just tears everywhere, just tears and tears and tears. But it made me feel like I'm not alone. And I know that is like the most overused statement when it comes to dealing with anything, is you're not alone. But the truth is, whenever I'm going through something, it is very easy to feel like I'm all by myself in this boat. I'm all by myself in this work struggle. I'm all by myself in the way that I feel about this particular situation, when you're not, you know? We are all in this together. And it only takes like a moment for you to be that bright spot to somebody, you know? And when people say things like, you never know what someone else is dealing with, like, I feel like that statement needs to stop right, like at the end of that needs to be it. You never know what someone else is dealing with. So be that positivity for that person, you know? You never know what someone else is dealing with. So be that rainbow, be that kindness, be that smile, be that encouragement, be that compliment, be that goodness, because you never know what someone else is dealing with. One of my friends told me that she really appreciates the fact that I am so real and I share when things aren't good. You know, I let people see that. And I really feel that that is the helpful thing about struggle. You know, today we have no struggle, no progress. It's from a quote from Frederick Douglass. And I really feel that, you know, if you're not, like, whenever you struggle through something, or whenever you have that thing that comes into your life that makes you like get down and gritty in your life, and you have to push through that thing, and you come out on the other end, you come out so much stronger, and so much stronger in the ways of being able to turn around. And I feel like that's what that strength and that progress is for. Like, yes, it's good to be strong for yourself, but it's even better to use that strength to encourage someone behind you. And like, when you punch through that emotional wall, or you punch through that situation and you come out into the bright light of whatever it is that you are transitioning to, use that strength to help somebody else. Use that strength to be a rainbow. Use that strength to be a light. And do it. You know, a lot of times I think about things like, oh, you know, I wish I could encourage somebody to XYZ, or I wish I could do something great, or do something like uplifting for this situation or whatever like that. Like, every step and every little thing that you do with the desire to be a positive impact on the world around you is valid, is needed, and is effective, regardless of how big or how small. And I hope that you carry that with you. Know that I am so blessed Know that I am excited to have you spending time with me. Know that I'm excited to have conversations with you, to see what you're doing, to have interactions with you online or whatever. Know that you are a light. In whatever way you are shining, you are shining. And that's all I have for you guys today. I'm very proud of myself right now for not crying. We got close, y'all. We got close, but we made it out with no tears. Yay! All right. Thank you guys so much for being a part of my universe. Please leave comments down below of something positive that happened to you, so that we can share that positivity and we can shine in the comment section. Encourage each other. If you see somebody on your Instagram feed or on your Facebook or whatever who is dealing with something or is saying that they're having a hard time, send them a message of encouragement, you know? It doesn't even have to be like something deep, you know? Just let them know, hey, I saw what you said and I really hope that things get better, you know? Or whatever it is, whatever the message is that you want to convey to them. Do that. Let's be active agents of kindness. You know what I mean? So, peace, love. Thanks for being part of my universe.